Hello, viewers of YouTube. Welcome back to another video where we are now going to discuss.
We're going to discuss movie classics.
Movie classics, yeah. It's a new series.
Right, it's a new series. Because, some time ago, we started to. I reference movies all the time, and I realized that a lot of people don't get those references, so we started to watch movies that are widely considered classics so that everyone would get my jokes. Alright, so at this point we've watched a whole bunch of them, of what I would consider and what most people would consider to be movie classics.
Right. So today, if you aren't familiar with it, it's Tremors, of course. It's a movie classics, so
Yep.
I guess you won't be too familiar with it.
Well, lots of people have seen Tremors. That's part of what makes it a classic. But Tremors was made in, the late 80s? No, it was made in the 80s. I think maybe even, I'm not sure exactly. That's good. That's a good question. Okay, so it was made, it's an old movie. It's at least, maybe 20, 30 years old.
Yeah.
Who knows, maybe more.
But I think the movie is really good. We're going to explain it to you guys. And yeah, let's get started.
You think it's worthy of the title of a movie classic? It's
100%.
A movie that you would, that sets a standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
It sets like the.
All right, so it sets the start.
It sets the old-timey setting with no televisions there at all. Just
right. Okay.
Radio.
Good. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's talk about the movie. So the setting is, like I said, in like the 80s. So no cell phones.
Instead, you had like a payphone or a phone on the wall with numbers they had to type in.
Yeah, and it had a wire that went to the next town over, and so you talked over a wire. Yep, which turned out to be pretty important to the story. The fact that there was no cell phones was important.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and then.
And they're in like a desert town, a small town.
I want to say
Arizona, New Mexico, something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, and it was also a very isolated town. There was like mountains on all sides, and there was only a couple of ways to get in and out. Right.
Right.
Okay. So, small town in the desert. Back in the day, no cell phones. Our characters.
We'll call them.
Yeah, I can't remember their name. Was Kevin Bacon is the one actor's name, and he's pretty well known.
Yeah, we'll call them Rick and Morty.
Well, yeah. Okay, cool. We'll call him Rick and Morty then.
Rick is the guy with the cowboy hat.
Right, but what happens in the movie?
Right, so it all starts out, these two are in a car just driving around.
Yeah, they were working, right? They were like handyman.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think they were packing stuff up, right?
Well, yeah, they were handymen in the small town, and they decided they had enough, and they were getting out of that small town one way or another, so they packed their stuff into their pickup truck to leave.
Yeah, but they do argue a lot.
They do, yeah, because one is like an old gruff guy, and the other guy is young and tenacious, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, judging by that picture, the one guy looks 20, the other one.
Yeah.
18.
Yeah, we have photos pulled up of the movie to help remind us of the setting and the characters. Anyway, there's a quick web search of photos. So, go on. So, that's, yep.
The main characters are...
What do they do? What happens?
So, I guess...
They pack up their stuff to leave town.
Yeah. I think they go to visit this one person, but they see old Gramps in a giant telephone tower.
Yeah.
And then they go to get him down, but when they climb up there, he's dead.
Yeah.
So
an old man.
yeah.
They come across an old man as they're leaving town who climbed a power line, a power tower.
Mhm.
And he sat up there so long that he died. And so it was a mystery of why this guy would climb a pole and then die.
Well, it actually, the doctor said that it was from dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see why in a moment.
Because they were in the desert and he sat up on the pole for so long. Right?
Yeah, but also this mystical creature chased him up there.
Ah, now we're getting into the core of the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this mystical creature, there's like 4 or 5 of them, right?
Mm. Yeah.
And so it chased him up there. It burrows through the ground. They appear small, but that's just like its many tongues.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could call them tongues, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of like this, but
Yeah.
sharper teeth.
It was very sock puppet-ish. Yeah. So a big monster, like a giant worm.
Yeah.
Graboids. That's what they call them, remember? It was a giant graboid. They had a big argument about what to call them.
Graboid.
Yeah, so the graboid chased that old man, and even though he had a gun, he was unable to kill it, so he had to climb the pole to keep himself safe. Graboids had like 6 tongues, and each one had a mouth of its own, and it would grab things and pull them in.
Yeah, at one point in the movie, there was this person, and the graboid grabbed his foots and pulled him down into the sand. The woman tried to help him, and then saw the mystical creature's tongue, ran back into the car, and the car got swallowed.
Yeah, that was cool too. That was a cool scene. She tried to save it. It realized she was in the car, so it started to pull the car under the ground, and you could see the headlights pointing up into the air as the car got pulled under.
Yeah. It was so cool too, because it left like a crater, kind of. Yeah, I thought that part was pretty cool.
Yeah, and our main characters found that later.
Mm-hmm.
And they like dug into the sand a little bit and found the grill of the car pointing up at them.
Aren't the headlights still on?
Yeah, the battery hadn't died
yet. Pointing up, Batman signal.
Into the sky. They needed Batman because so now they're in an isolated little town, and they were unable to get out of the town, right? Because the roads were messed up.
The one road was because the construction people, one of them, I think, was eaten or crushed by rocks.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I guess the other guy was killed by the... I forgot what it was called.
Graboids.
Graboids, yes. Thank you. I guess he was eaten by a graboid. But...
So now they can't get out of town.
Yeah, they're stuck in this shop or store, I guess you could call it. And so they killed the tongue of a graboid, and this one girl is being forced to take a picture with it around its neck. And so...
Yeah, the kid, right?
Yeah. There's a girl and a boy. The girl is terrified of the thing and thinks it's going to come alive and grab her and pull her down. So there's that one. Yeah, I'd be nervous too. But the boy in the situation just likes to crack jokes. Came running outside to everyone, screaming, with a dead tongue around his neck. Graboid tongue.
Yeah, he was like a nuisance throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it was a reference of The Boy Who Cried Wolf, because he did it so many times, and then the last time he was actually being chased by the graboid, like whole worms.
They're big.
Yeah, they're probably like half the length of a bus, I guess.
Yeah, they were like bigger than a pickup truck.
Yeah, and did we mention that Reba was in there too?
No, we didn't get there yet.
Yeah.
So they realized they were stuck in the town, that there was monsters going around eating everybody. So everyone got together, almost everyone got together at the general store in town. And Reba McEntire's in the movie. Good old Reba. Mom's a big fan.
Yeah.
Of Reba.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love her shows too.
Yeah, she's very wholesome and good. Anyway, so how does Reba's character, what is up with Reba's character in this story? Explain.
So compared to a modern day...
Is she in the general store with everybody else? Is she somewhere else? What's the story? What's going on with Reba?
So Reba is in a poorly painted, I guess, emergency hut. It's made of stone, concrete. And so...
Yeah, it's like a bunker.
Yeah. So they go downstairs because they realize these monsters are everywhere.
Right, so they're somewhere else. Her and who? Bert.
Bert, yeah.
Her husband. Yeah. They're separate from everybody else because they're loners.
Yeah.
Okay, so they
down in their basement, they have this huge armory of guns. Yeah. And so one of the graboids just barges through the wall of the bunker and tries to eat them, but fails immediately. Gets stuck. They're all shooting it, and then the last two shots, the guy takes an elephant rifle, goes 2 rounds into it, blam, blam, it's dead, hooray, confetti.
It was a really cool scene because they shot it with like 10 different guns before Bert finally grabbed the elephant rifle.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Of course, it wasn't this modern day, so the guns weren't as good. That wasn't a very great description.
What do you mean?
They didn't have modern day devices.
Well, yeah, they had all kinds of cool guns. They had it's a movie, so they had like submachine guns that were automatic. They had an AR-15, like a classic, like a vintage M16 style.
All I'm going to be able to use is the .22 and an airsoft rifle.
Yeah, we'd have trouble against Tremors. We don't have any elephant rifles around here.
Yeah, but we do have advanced technology, like bombers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but if we're stuck at our house like Reba and Bert were, then we might have some trouble against some Tremors.
Of course, we have shotguns.
Then again, we would probably do like the rest of the town did and go up on the roof. Because meanwhile, while Bert and Reba managed to kill one of the Tremors with their arsenal, yeah, you're right. The rest of the people, meanwhile, were back in town. They could hear all the gunfire, and they all went up to the roof to get as far away from the graboids as they could.
Yeah, these graboids don't fly. They're not like humans. They can't.
No, they tunnel underground. We didn't even say that before. So they're giant worms that tunnel underground, and then they pop up, deploy their many tongues, grab things, pull them in, go back underground.
Yeah.
So that's why they went up on the roof, right? To get away from them. That's how it burst through the wall of their basement, of their bunker.
Of course, those tiny little tongues couldn't possibly just tear a house down, which in the movie that they tried to tear down a shop and kind of worked.
Yeah. So, they end up really destroying the shop, the general store, and I think a couple other buildings there. Everybody's just kind of clinging to life. So then what? Then they had Like, they knew they needed to get out of town because they were stuck in this valley with these things, and they were eventually, sooner or later, going to get eaten.
Yeah, so this guy had a mowing tractor. And
It was a bulldozer. Like a big one.
Well, they created a distraction with like a lawnmower, and it started going forward, and the graboids would chase it, grab it, while everyone else got in a bulldozer and rode out of there.
Yeah.
But did run into some problems, started pulling the thing down, and they had to get up on this giant rock. But
right.
while those guys are doing all of that, Reba and Bert also got on with a homemade dynamite bomb.
Yeah. Bert and Reba made some homemade pipe bombs.
Yeah, I guess they took pipes, one end, another end, put it together.
Yeah, with gunpowder or something in there.
I think they were like...
He said a few household chemicals and a proper mixture or something like that.
Yeah, they looked like pellets to me.
Yeah, but that's not what's important. What's important is everybody made it to the dozer.
Mm-hmm.
They went and picked up Bert and Reba, and they started to get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
And the graboids were trying to pull the trailer under, and eventually the graboids laid a trap in the road because these things are smart.
Yeah.
Which makes them dangerous.
The last one is probably the smartest one.
Yeah. So they were trapped. They laid a trap for them and got the dozer stuck. So everybody had to jump out and run to the rocks.
Yeah, I think they just jumped onto the rock and they didn't
run.
Yeah,
the rocks were nearby, luckily for them.
So
okay, so yeah, and the rocks are safe because the graboids can't tunnel into them.
Yeah.
So now what?
So now they're using their arsenal of guns to try to take these things out.
The pipe bombs. Yep. Throwing the pipe bombs.
Yeah, so they blew the pipe bomb.
I think they even killed one or two more with the pipe bombs, right?
Yeah. So what it did is these things have like no eyes whatsoever. They can only tell where things are with vibrations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're on a rock and you talk, your vocal cords are vibrating, so they know you're there.
Yep.
Very sensitive vibration detectors.
So what was the plan to get off the rock? Because otherwise they were going to sit there and die of dehydration.
They just kill them all.
Right, so they managed to kill one.
They managed to kill all three, actually.
Well, I think by this point there was only one left. Yeah. We forgot that they killed one in the drainage ditch.
Yeah.
And then they killed Bert and Reba killed one, and then they killed one with a pipe bomb, I think. And then finally, Kevin Bacon, the actor, came up with the plan to get rid of the last one.
And so Kevin Bacon was the young guy, right?
Yeah.
So he started running towards a cliff, and then the graboid broke through the cliff and fell to its ultimate doom.
Yeah, it fell far.
Yeah.
It's a bad day for the graboid. Yeah. And then in the end, so they all survived. Well, most of them survived. They killed all the graboids. It was a big deal. There was book deals and stuff to be had.
Yeah.
There was, I guess we never even talked about the fact that there was the girl, the college student, the girl. I don't remember her name.
Was she the one on the little bouncy thing?
No, that was the little girl, the college girl, the one that kind of like she was. I mean, they collaborated together a lot to come up with ideas and
Reba?
solutions. No. Remember when they first introduced her character? She had a whole bunch of sunscreen on her nose. She looked really funny.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Well, in the end, Kevin Bacon gets the girl because it's a happy ending.
Your happy ending always happens with movie classics. Sometimes.
Most of the time, yeah. We have to think of a movie classic that doesn't have a happy ending. Oh, Red Dawn. That's one I've been holding on to that doesn't have a happy ending. But you guys aren't quite ready for that yet. That's a high school movie.
Isn't that the one where the guy shouts Wolverines?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, we saw the trailer for it, but
Yeah.
it looked really good.
Well, yeah, but it's not action-packed. It's a little bit slow-paced, and I think it's important for you to be able to put yourself into the character's shoes in order to appreciate that movie.
I can do that. We need shoes.
Yeah, you certainly put the shoes on, but I think, like I said, in order to be able to appreciate it, you'd have to be able to really put yourself in that scenario, and that requires, and I think that works best if you're in that age category that they're in.
They might not fit. They have
Yeah.
little feet.
Yeah, a couple more years though. It won't be long. By the time we talk about all the movie classics that we've watched so far, we can probably watch it because we've watched a lot of movie classics.
Yeah.
So that's Tremors, right? In a nutshell, it's a classic. Even if you already know what happens, it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of details that we left out.
Yeah, there's a couple of 80s montages where there's like music playing while they do stuff. There's a lot of swearing for the sake of swearing. I do remember that. Do you remember like people would use bad language, but they were using it poorly? They would say things that didn't.
Yeah.
It was like using bad language for the sake of using bad language. It was kind of funny.
Please excuse my French.
Yeah. It wasn't like subtly dropping an F-bomb into a sentence. It was like they tried, like they wrote it into the script on purpose. It's weird. It was a small detail.
Every time they cursed, it was, please excuse my French.
Oh yeah, the old gruff guy kept saying, "Pardon my French," to the girl. Remember, he kept saying it to the girl.
Yeah. And then the girl caught on, said a naughty word.
Oh yeah, she did it back. Right?
Yeah. I thought that part was really funny.
Yeah. There was lots of fun humor in it. It was good. It's like a, how would we categorize that? There's a little bit of suspense in the beginning because you don't know what's happening. There's a little bit of horror because they are going around killing people. There's a little bit of comedy because the characters are a little bit goofy. It's good. I think it's a well-rounded movie. I think that's what earns it the stamp of approval for a movie classic.
I know what category it's going to be in.
What?
Netflix.
That's okay.
Netflix. The Netflix category.
Category on itself. Okay, so yeah, that's Tremors.
Yeah, I guess that's going to wrap it up.
Tune in next time for another movie classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I also want to give a big welcoming to our grandparents who are going to be coming this weekend. I might have them tuned in so then they can talk with you guys, because they might have some pretty cool stories that they might want to share. Anyways, that'll do it for today. Everybody have a wonderful day. Yeah, stay hydrated, kids. Nutrition.